Social Justice Goblin here with my Diet Coke. So today's video is a really hard one. You know, this is my first video back from when? From this whole big job loss thing. So, you know, and also don't forget I'm working for the company that makes YouTube, so they already know my video. So, you know, they would have said no. So, because, look, I like making videos. So I was having a hard time coming up with a topic. Toasting the cigar. Coming up with a topic for today. So the first one I had, there was a couple. I'm going to go through a couple of them. The first one was, I finally started watching SmackDown again. You're going, what? Yeah, I kind of got, I don't know, I just wasn't in the mood to watch SmackDown. I don't know, just, I have wrestling class during SmackDown, and I get back and I read the reviews, and I'm just like, okay, you know. So SmackDown was live because class got canceled because of a power outage, which I later found out they had class, but by the time I found out, it was dark and they were already gone. So, go figure. But so what was I thinking? Yeah, so I was able to watch SmackDown live. And I was like, yeah, you know what? You haven't watched SmackDown in a while. I'm sure, you know, you can catch up on the stories, and I'm sure they'll catch you up where you need to be, you know, because WWE is really good about keeping you in the loop. And I get to watch some WWE refs, now that I've gotten a little bit more critical with my eye watching refs. Because it takes a while to develop that ref eye. It takes a while to develop that wrestling eye. Watching wrestling now is so different than me. I scream comeback now. And also, he cut him off at the screens now. I mean, you kind of like, oh, I know that move. Whoa, that was really well done. Or how did they do that? And you want to rewind it a little, but particularly with the refs, especially with the bumps. I watch their bumps over and over again because there's not that many. And, you know, I need to learn that. But, man, was SmackDown good this week? Now, I'm not going to focus on the negatives because that's not a positive thing, and I only want to say positive things. And this is going to sound like a total mark. So, because, you know, someone said, you're a mark, Maggie, and I was like, yeah, I am. Is that a big deal? And he's just like, no. Okay, I'm a mark. I'm still a fan of wrestling. I love wrestling. Everything about wrestling. Except, really, no. I can't wait to get hip tossed. So yeah, I mean, I'm a mark. And I love SmackDown this week. It kicked off with a bunch of promos, which explained the matches for the night, kind of gave us a good feel. Great to see promo work, because this is like stuff you can study and like go back to and see, because I mean, AJ Styles gave a classic promo style where he did it just the way I was taught. I was like, wow, that's like perfect. And it sounded great. I mean, all the promos were great. You could study the promos. I'm loving what they're doing with Bayley and Sasha Banks. I mean, running terror all over that. That's a great storyline. And the matches, they were decent. The Jeff Hardy and Sheamus bar fight they reviewed was really good. At least the highlights were. I mean, I'm sure I might go back and rewatch that one. But most cinema matches are good. So, I mean, I'm glad I started watching SmackDown, and I'll be watching SmackDown more often. Now, that's the thing about watching wrestling that changes as you become a wrestling student. You're not... It's like... I don't know, it's because you're in class around it all the time, or because people are instructing you and pointing things like this out to you, or whatever. You start to notice things differently when you watch wrestling. And once you learn the story elements of a wrestling match, it completely changes because you get it enhances the match so much. It's like it really draws you in even more and creates more emotion in you. Because ultimately that's what a wrestling match is supposed to do, is just evoke an emotion in you. Maybe I'm wrong, but the matches all I remember evoked some happy memories or some really angry moments in my life. And it just draws you in and makes you go, oh my God, that was amazing how they did that. I mean... And Bray Wyatt's back to being the Fiend, and so I'm happy about that. I like the Fiend. I'm really interested and curious what direction they're going to take the Fiend in. I mean, now they got him running ramp shot all over the Federation, but I don't know. That's getting too marky. But SmackDown was good, and I'm glad I'm going to be watching them more often. And also, I need to pick up watching the refs more. Yeah. Because watching the refs, I learn how the refs react, how they do their deal with difficult situations, how to pin. That's where I realized and got position. You learn your positioning from them. You learn a lot studying the refs. Just like you learn a lot studying the wrestlers. And your eye does change. Anyways. So then I said, well, maybe I should make a speak out video. But the honest truth is, Speak Out was a movement that happened about a month ago or a month and a half ago in the wrestling community where women spoke out about abuse in the business. And this is a hard one for me to talk about because it was hard to read those stories. But I read them. I believed them. And I'm here to listen. But thank you for speaking out. And that's really all I wanted to say. So, but, you know, it was some horrible things that happened. And it was very disheartening to read those stories, and it was hard. Oh, I'm growing out my beard so that I can get it waxed off because I'm getting tired of shaving all the time. And it's just let it grow, wax it off, costs $30, and I'm done. So anyways, that's why I have a beard, because I'm growing it out. Got to get a little longer. Anyways, so yeah. And then that's all I want to say. I mean, I support you. best as I can. And oh my God, Joey Ryan. Yeah. And you're probably laughing at that. But, you know, I don't have anything to speak out about. Yes, wrestling school is hard as hell for me. It takes me out of my comfort zone every time. I mean, I'm the oldest person in the room other than the head instructor, Pops. And most of these guys are in their 20s, a few in their 30s. And you know, I want to talk about wrestling in the 80s. And these guys want to talk about, you know, wrestling. They want to talk about eras where, you know, I don't want to talk about WCW ever again. And there's a huge WCW faction in my school. So it's like, oh God, WCW? Why? I still have PTSD from WCW. Not because it was bad, but just... It was a very sad day for me when WCW was bought by WWF. Because I love WCW, and I loved it to the end. And I watched it to the bitter end. And it had good moments. It had a lot of wrestling. It had a lot that I was just like... But I kind of just would ignore it and watch the good bits. And I just flipped to freaking Raw. I was one of those that would flip back and forth between the two wrestling programs, honestly. So I was watching both. In fact, I was flipping back and forth when Raw and Nitro, when the last Nitro was. We all did it. There's nothing to be ashamed about that. Because now, I mean, now you can DVR everything, and back then, you got one channel on your TV, and that's what you watched. If you had a VCR, you could VCR record it. But I like watching live wrestling. So, and I do like watching live wrestling. I miss live wrestling, especially in person. There's nothing like the feel of having a crowd. Boo you in the world. Yeah, I guess I should talk about that. Yeah, I don't know if I'm a heel ref or not. But honest to God, it was not a legal 3 count. It was a legal 3 count. I counted 1, 2, 3. The money was a donation to the trans funds to help the transgenders. Otherwise, I have no comment. Storyline stuff. I don't even know where the storyline's going, so I really shouldn't be making that statement. But yeah, I got to do a heelish thing in the ring, and it was so much fun. The crowd was pissed. I even got harassed while I was going to get to the staging point where we're gonna give Greenback the belt, and they were yelling at me and stuff. And I was like, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. And they were like getting in my face. And then then I managed to get him the belt, and oh my god, the crowd just, like, they hated Greenback like there was no tomorrow, and it was rubbing off on me. And then I got backstage, and it was just, the crowd was almost in a riot. And you know what? That's what it felt like to me, but probably wasn't. But man, there is no rush like when you have a crowd behind you or against you. And really, I don't get heat. I'm a ref, it rubs off. But I felt some of it later that night, because when I was leaving, I got confronted. I was like, no one's going to confront me. I'm just the ref. They don't, I can walk in and out, and, one of them might say hi to me because they know me when I was a fan. And, I always said hi to them, and when I was working backstage, when I was working the front, I always said hi to them, I'm polite. No, they were waiting for me. That was awesome. Because like I said, they're more, the fans are more interested in going to see the good guy wrestlers and stuff like that, and get their pictures taken and hold the belts and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I miss live audiences. I mean, I do miss live audiences. And by the way, I'm not saying that Greenback got all the heat. That's the one they're going to remember. I just got a little rub. I got like a little taste. But my God, was that crowd? Oh my God. It was amazing to listen to that crowd. Whenever they get that crowd fired up, man, at AAPW, and you're backstage, I love just being backstage and listening to that crowd, because, man, when they get them riled up, oh, they are one of the best crowds you could ever hope for. I mean, they're as good as the AEW crowds, which are amazing. Those are fun crowds to be in too. Oh, I'm gonna miss that. Being in the crowd. Feeling the energy of what's going on in the show. But I'm in the business now, so but I mean, crowds are essential to wrestling. And coronavirus has robbed us of that. It's also robbed us of shows. Because, I mean, wrestling's just better when you have a crowd. I wish they would stop. They wish they would just get rid of the plexiglass on WWE. I don't know. The plexiglass. They're always banging on the plexiglass. But yeah, crowds are essential to wrestling as far as I'm concerned. And if I'm wrong, I'll be told to take down this video. Anyways, I've rambled on now for about 20 minutes. So, a mishmash of my thoughts.